tryouts, and so we've been busy trying to get our minds back around and get ready for our next opponent at Minnesota on Wednesday. This obviously is a tough place for everybody to play, and so we got to just get on with our season and play that next game. And you're only as good. I learned in all these games, you only seem to be as good as your last game, and that's just weighs on you. And we weren't very good our last 2 games, so it's double. It's on you, and you just got to keep trying to refresh yourself and get better. But you have to get a win somewhere along the line again to feel good. Any type of win in any place against anybody, and this will be a great challenge for us. If you're watching Minnesota's scores, no, they haven't won a league game yet, but Michigan State, Indiana, Purdue, all teams that really handle this well, they've played them much tougher. So this is a young, exciting, young team that is trying to find its way, and it's going to be a difficult challenge for us. So, and you got to be very conscious of our kids not playing not to lose, to play to win. You got to get that swag back that those two losses can just take away from you. So we'll do what we can do. Karras practiced for 1 hour yesterday. That was the longest that he's gone without, I was pulling him off, seeing how he felt, etc. So I haven't talked with him. Everything was good today, but this is his call. This is not my call. This is his call, and we'll see what he feels like after today's practice, how much he can go once again.
Chris?
Coach, where's Mo Wagner in his development, and do you think he could still help you at times this year?
I hope so. I do hope so. He's had some, whether we're playing zone or man, right now, just as a young man who grows so late and grows so much, he's had, it's difficult for him to guard on the perimeter right now. So playing now, but equally as difficult for him to play good post players. And that's been a big challenge. And then his propensity to foul very quickly, right, because of not good position, is an issue with him. And he's keep working on it. You know what? His mistakes are ones of commission. He's trying really hard. I hope he can. I know that he's going to have a bright future, but he's got to push through some things right now to get on the court for big minutes for us.
And then Karras, after he comes off the court and practices, is he still pain-free?
Yes, yeah. That's all. If he's in pain, we would, take another action. He's not in pain. Now to get him into shape and assure that we don't tax him too much, that any pain returns. So he's every day he's been pain-free.
Brendan?
And we just push him a little bit more. He pushes himself a little bit more each day. Now we're up to an hour.
So that's obviously an interesting dynamic. How does that actually play out in terms of the day-to-day, and then going into games? You need to know, his teammates need to know what that move is. When do you know? How does that work?
That's the puzzle. We'll go into practice today, and we'll have some actions for him defensively and offensively that he's got to learn. And then, like I said, you just don't know what it's going to be like. This is extremely important that he plays when he is ready to play, and he's not risking any further injury. So we are. It's a puzzle. I've never had it before. I mean, it's just I've done a lot of things I haven't had before, and this is one of them. We gotta figure it out.
And when I think last week you mentioned he gave it a go for like a half an hour, and he was like kind of dribble off his foot. Someone the rust and stuff like that.
Oh, everybody, yeah.
Are you seeing that shake off a little bit? Is there progress being made?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He made a key shot in one of our drills yesterday, and But it's like I said, you go from 15 to 20 to 30 to 45 to an hour, and it changes. But he has not gone up and down, up and down, up and down yet. It is limited to up and down. So now we got to see what he can do with that. But this game, you cannot cheat this game if you're not in game shape. So that's what we're trying to establish.
And last one on that is in terms of dealing with the psyche. Obviously he has a very important future to go ahead. How do you kind of deal with him on that side of things?
Try to guide him, but it's his call. I mean, there's a time you either got to jump in the water or you don't jump in the water. You just got to go. Can you swim or can you can't swim? You got to sort of figure out whether he can do it and don't look back. So, but once again, I want him to feel really comfortable about it. I would do this with anybody, by the way. I think that some guys may have look at their future maybe differently than he has. Obviously, some great opportunities waiting him in just a few months. So it just adds to it a little bit.
Simon?
Coach, I know you said it being his decision, but is there anyone else in terms of team doctors or anyone else that, is it if he says he's ready to go tomorrow, he's ready to go tomorrow?
Yeah, pretty much. He's been cleared to do that. Yeah. Payne is his guy. Payne is his guy. So we've done a lot of. He's had a lot of doctor's visits, and we have these weekly checkups that we follow the progress.
He has to tell you today to play tomorrow?
It will depend on what else it'll probably be. Practice today, see how he feels, how long can he go, and then he'll make the trip, and we'll see.
Oh, so you can decide tomorrow and
Yeah.
shoot around?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do a shoot around there tomorrow and just see. So what we're trying to see, what are the effects the next day from him working so hard during the day? So we really don't know till the day after. Until yesterday's again was good, so it's progressing.
So should we say game time decision?
That would, possible game time decision. How about that?
John?
Are there any techniques that you've learned over the years to try and help a team out of maybe a mental slump a little bit, or does that vary so much from team to team?
You can't. You still got to show them you believe in them, and you got to, like I told Duncan yesterday. The only way you're getting in trouble, son, if you don't shoot when you're open, just keep shooting it. And the same thing I would have told Nick or Tim Hardaway or any of our great shooters over the past year. So just keep shooting it. If that would be an example of it. So we got to. Derek's had some rough outings, right? Derek, we're not taking you out. You just got to keep going and just keep looking at the floor and seeing the floor and shooting it when you're open. We want him to shoot it more too, and so it's part of the growth.
Mark? With Aubrey, is that something that you want his role to expand more when other guys? Do you want the guy? I guess the question is, do you want the guys to see that other guys, if they're struggling, that they need to increase their volume as a result?
Yeah. We're trying to find ways that without complicating things for Aubrey to play him in other positions. Because he basically takes place over on the left side with Zach, and how can we get him? Either in the back court or in the front court and play with Zach, but still keep the ball in Zach's hands. So it's under consideration right now what we could do to get him on the floor in the event we have any, we have foul trouble, we have injuries. I thought that DJ and Cam, got in there the other day and they did a little bit better at the end of the game, obviously, but there's still some work involved there, and that's the big area that we got to get better at.
In terms of the shooting, though, do you if you see that Derek's struggling and Duncan's
Yeah.
struggling, you want Aubrey to start shooting it more?
Well, we got to get him open. He doesn't get open a lot. He's a marked man. And that's what Michigan State and Indiana did a great job of not letting Duncan get open and keeping Aubrey. It reminded me a little bit of the way Wisconsin plays off the ball. That's very different. They really shut down, wouldn't let Duncan get any looks, with the risk of playing 4-on-4. And so we got to find ways to do that. And we're trying to, but that's I guess the puzzle I love and I hate. You're always got to be changing because people will take what you're doing and take it away from you. Say, okay, now what are you going to do? So.
Over here with Jacob.
You mentioned last week that you don't think leadership was the problem, and we've seen like in the second half of the state game, Zach had an outburst and a timeout.
Yeah.
And Derek has talked about wanting to be a leader as well. What have you seen from those two guys in this kind of weird time where you don't have any seniors on the floor?
I wouldn't say leadership is a problem. I'd say leadership needs to grow. It just needs to grow. I mean, there's some times when your leaders are just bad leaders. That's not the case, but I think we can do much more in that areas. And where when Zach got emotional in that second half, I mean, those are sometimes a good thing, as much as you don't want a player to go up and down like that. He was playing at a very high level and lots of intensity and was frustrated. And his teammates have to understand that that there's an expectation here that you're going to play both hard and smart the whole time. And when we don't, it gets frustrating. And nobody's lazy, right? But they're teaching this particular group right now that we have out on the floor, only 2 guys have ever won. I mean, 2 guys have ever won. And so the other guys are learning how to win. And against the, you say we're 17-7, so they've won so far this year, but I mean against the elite teams, we're trying to teach the rest of them where it was always the majority had won before, had been in the NCAA tournament. Now it's the minority, that extreme minority. So Karras and Spike were there, now you got more of 1/3 of the team, but it hasn't been like that. So that's a lot of frustration.
Brendan, you got another?
What have you kind of just seen, I guess, in general from the team the last couple of days, I guess, in terms of,
Oh, really good energy in practice, and really there's nobody hanging their heads in practice. I'm sure they're not probably looking at their Twitter accounts a lot and looking for people who are praising them or something. But their practice yesterday, I mean, we had as always after a week like that, I mean, there was a lot of strong instruction that went on in video, and we went out there and practiced as hard as we practiced all year. So there wasn't anybody hanging their head. The attitude is good as far as getting the improvement. How we're getting there is so slow that's what's frustrating.
and I know you're not going to obviously give us changes in strategies or anything like that, but in terms of when you're this late in the year and you're in a situation that you're in, as a coach, how much can you X and O some new stuff or come up with new ideas and change things?
Yeah,
kind of like that.
I keep this ledger of how many times we've practiced and how many's left. And it's not because I'm looking for the season to get over. Don't get that wrong. But today's our 82nd practice. There's 18 left. And so you look at that. Okay, how much can we do in these 18 practices? And some of them are some of them are going to be walkthrough type of practices. So you always look at what can we, because too much is not good, right? And but you also can't change it and say, okay, we can't change. This is who we're going to be. So we're trying a lot of that right now. Okay, what can we do best down the stretch to help this team win in these last few games? What can we do best? And we're trying to own in on that and if anything, shorten things up.